Deep reflection on the 70th anniversary of Emmett Till. 70 years ago, the brutal murder of Emmett Till shocked the conscience of America and ignited a movement. Emmett was just 14 years old, an innocent boy whose life was stolen by racial hatred and white supremacy. His open casket funeral, chosen by his mother Mamie Till Mobley, forced the world to confront the violence and injustice that Black Americans endured daily. Today, on the 70th anniversary of his murder, the gun used to kill him is being put on display in Mississippi. For some, it may feel unsettling, even disrespectful, to see such an instrument of hate placed in public view. But perhaps this is not about glorifying the weapon. It is about refusing to let history be erased or sanitized. Objects like this are not relics of a distant past. They are mirrors, forcing us to look at what this country has allowed and reminding us of what must never be repeated. Alongside this, the release of the trial transcripts from his murder offers another form of reckoning. Those words, preserved across decades, reveal not just the crime itself, but the indifference of a system that refused to see Emmett's humanity. They lay bare how justice was denied and how truth was twisted. To have these transcripts open and accessible now, ahead of this anniversary, is to challenge silence. It is to make sure that the details, the failures, and the truths are not buried with time. What do we make of all this? On one hand, there is pain in reopening these wounds. On the other, there is power in facing them. To display the gun, to release the transcripts, is a rebuke to those who would prefer we move on, forget, or rewrite. Instead, it forces us to remember that the fight for justice is not finished. Emmett Till's story is not just history, it is prophecy, warning, and fuel. On this anniversary, we honor his memory not just by recalling his death, but by continuing the work his life demands of us, to confront racism, to demand truth, and to insist on justice.
Thousands of pages of records on the death of Emmett Till. They detail how the government responded to the 1955 killing of the Chicago 14-year-old. He was tortured and killed in Mississippi after he was accused of whistling at a white woman. The records include reports, case files, and other documents that have never been seen by the public before.
Just the gun itself, and you try to visualize yourself as Emmett Till, as these things was happening to him. What was going through his mind? We're really close. What state of mind was he in at this particular time? I don't know. It was. I kind of got a little teary for a minute because I was 13 when I was arrested and sent to Parchment Prison. Those same things that happened to Emmett could have happened to me and others.
70 years ago today, Emmett Till, a black teen from Chicago, boarded a train with his cousin headed to the South. Till was ultimately abducted and murdered, his death helping galvanize the civil rights movement. Tonight, our Jermont Terry is live at Union Station as the family commemorated that train ride. Jermont?
Yes, Joe. Reverend William Parker Jr. is the last living witness to the Emmett Till abduction. Back in 1955, Parker and his cousin Till were just teenagers. They hopped on the train heading south to Mississippi, but we know only one returned alive. And moments ago, Parker took that same train ride back south to remember his slain cousin. The family of Emmett Till prays not only for a safe train ride on this night, but for the pain they felt since 1955. That's from Reverend William Parker Jr., seen here with his cousin Emmett Till in Summit, Illinois, left for a trip down south. That trip to Mississippi became tragic for Till. It's something Parker will never forget.
So they came to me first in this room, and I was shaking like a leaf on a tree.
Parker was in the house when the 14-year-old Till was taken by white men by gunpoint and later beaten, then lynched. The Chicago teen's murder sparked outrage and helped ignite movement in the civil rights era after his mother insisted on an open casket. And 70 years later, Parker boards a train with a purpose.
There's a saying in the Bible that lest thou forget. It helps us to remember.
As Parker takes the solemn ride, he says it's essential to never forget.
For one thing, 70 years ago, we didn't think about what was going to happen.
Especially after a jury acquitted Roy Bryant and John Millam, the two white men who murdered Emmett Till.
And we're not here to stir animosity, ill will, or hate, but to remind people how far we've come and how much progress we made.
And while 70 years have passed, Till's family says America still has healing to do.
I'm always reminded of the suffering and price that they paid, but we come a long way. And his mother's statement was, I hope you didn't die in vain. He didn't die in vain.
Now, also along for the ride, the widow of Willie Reed. He's the man who publicly identified Emmett Till's killers in court. That was a first for a black man during the Jim Crow era. Now, the family, they obviously have so much to reflect on as they take that train ride down south. Live outside Union Station tonight, Jermont Terry, CBS News, Chicago.
Well, I'm pretty sure that you've heard of the good, the bad, and the ugly. And nobody wants to deal with the ugly.
If the death of my son can mean something to the other unfortunate people all over the world, then for him to have died a hero would mean more to me than for him just to have died.
Reporting, such as in the PBS series Eyes on the Prize, has shed more light on Mrs. Till's role in the civil rights struggle, but fame is not what she's seeking.
It is the final outcome that I'm interested in. And I am interested now in someone sparking a movement to get our kids turned around, to get them out of off this dope, get them out of these gangs, energize these kids in a positive direction, and let's get on with the business of positive thinking and living.
For the 10 o'clock news, I'm Marcus Jones.
Emmett was born the 25th of July, 1941. And it was a very difficult birth. He was a breech baby, and they had to get him turned around and so forth and so on, which caused a whole lot of misery and pain. He was the happiest baby in the world. It looked like he said, free at last, I'm here, I'm free. And nothing fazed him. By that I mean you didn't have to hold him and rock him and pet him. If you gave him that bottle or made sure he was dry, you could put him in his bed and he would lie there and kick and coo and for hours. As he grew up, it was more like we were sisters and brothers almost, because my mother raised him while I went to work. So it was like he was hers, and I knew I was hers, and we had fun together. We laughed together. We never did much fighting until he and I moved alone, and it would become necessary to discipline him ever so often.